And welcome back to Zanpakuto Creation Series. Today's Zanpakuto Creation Series video comes to us from... Crap, I just had the person. Where'd they go? One second here. We're going to find them. It's Kayla... Is it Kayla or Kyla? There we go. Kayla, is it Naga or Noga? I'm going to go with Kayla. No, actually, let me go in the actual thing and check the name here. Maybe this will work better. Kayala Naga? Either way, you asked, what is the Zanpakuto of our favorite mugging up future time traveler, Trunks? Trunks Briefs, to be precise. That's the actual full name. And we just realized Goku even had Son Goku. Goku's first name is Goku's last name is actually Son. Does Vegeta have a last name? Did he take Bulma's last name? Vegeta Briefs? I just laughed. That would be the case. I'm guessing he didn't. But Trunks. Trunks is obviously the son of Vegeta and Bulma from the future. Now, I could be looking at the Trunks that we had in the other timeline, who actually would probably be different because he didn't have to deal with the android threat in this timeline. Or in that timeline, I should say. But we'll be looking at future Trunks. So I have a feeling that's what you were implying when asking for that. So, as always, I go by the type of Zanpakuto, how it's sealed, what its release is, Shikai, Bankai in terms of name, spirit form, all that stuff, and then we'll go into what it does. I don't have any extra images here because I just didn't feel like it was needed. So the first thing is, what type of Zanpakuto would this be? Well, what the Zanpakuto does, kind of just a reflection on the user to some degree. And that's just because obviously the Zanpakuto is you. It's just a reflection of you. A perfect example of this is with Shuhei. Shuhei is an individual who is afraid of death and basically is scared to die, but also kind of accepts that fact, and he uses that fear as a strength. And that's why his Zanpakuto, Kazashine, basically allows him to... He'll be injured, he could die from a normal wound, but he's able to heal that using the actual effect of his Bankai, or his Zanpakuto Shikai, and his Bankai basically is a combination of death and life. It's a perfect circle and balance. Trunks came from a time where the androids were running rampant. He lost everyone he cared about, and he's someone who I think wants to protect, but is afraid that he's going to mess up. And he's just there. He just wants to be able to save someone. That's basically what it is. He just wants to be able to protect. The normal form of this Zanpakuto would be a katana. Its release form, I think, would honestly just look like a standard broadsword. So I think it would be a very basic. It would just look like it does. The release for this Zanpakuto is guard. Its Shikai and Bankai would be white oak and then iron trunk white oak, which translates out to Shiro Oku for the Shikai, and then Tetsu no Taranko Shiro Oku for the Bankai. Again, that might not be 100% right, but it's in the ballpark of the name. The spirit of this blade, though, I see this spirit being, because the name is White Oak, so it'd be a white-haired version of Bulma with a Saiyan tail, because he is a Saiyan. So I think the Saiyan tail stays. But this is one of those cases where I think he's a male character with a female Zanpakuto spirit, because his biggest influence in his life is his mother. That's the person who's influenced him. That's the person who's put her faith in him. That's the person who's, that's the only real person he has that he loves dearly. I mean, in Super, we see he has a affection for Mai. But let's be honest, the person who basically influenced his conception and worldview is his mother. So I think a female Zanpakuto spirit for them actually makes a lot of sense. Now, what does the blade actually do? What does this sword do? Well, I didn't actually specify what type of Zanpakuto was, did I? That's because, unlike a lot of other Dragon Ball Z characters who probably are just straight-out melee types, I mean, Goku's, for example, isn't necessarily a melee type, but it's not really a Kido type in the traditional sense. Most likely, the majority of these guys would have, like, melee to melee with a Kido ability type Zanpakuto. Trunks, however, is more or less, in my opinion, kind of almost a straight Kido type. What I see it doing is, and it's white oak as a tree, the sword acts as the trunk of the tree. Basically, it produces a protective energy field around the blade, but only when the blade is striking something or something strikes the blade. And what it does is it basically just jettisons out past the blade. It's almost like a shockwave effect, but it's actually a field that's constantly surrounding the blade. And every time it strikes, the blade, it immediately just pushes back against the opponent or whatever it's striking against, which in the case of, physical matter, like a rock, trees, other metal, could theoretically break the materials going up against. In the case of an opponent, it could just literally blow an opponent back every time he strikes them. He may never actually, the catch here is that he may not actually cut someone, but he can at least cause concussive damage. And if they're strong enough to not necessarily be pushed back and maybe just take the hit, that means that if the harder he hits, the stronger the actual energy, we'll call it energy attack at the moment, that rebounds off of that is. Sorry, I had something in my throat there. So I think this works well because it's an offensive and defensive ability all in one. It's an ability that allows him to protect, rebound, and keep someone safe, especially if you were, let's use just Zamasu, for example. Zamasu comes in, he blocks with the blade. The blade will immediately blow back the opponent, and this gives him time to protect someone. So I think that works in Trunks' favor. The Bankai, basically like many other Zanpakuto, is just a larger representation of what the Shikai does. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's definitely more nuanced or symbolic. Similar to like Shunsui's, which is instead of bringing children games to life, it brings a play to life, or Hara's restructures anything that all touches, whereas Shikai seems to restructure Kido / Ryatsu. You get the general gist. Here, the blade glows blue, basically like it did when he went into his wrathful state and kind of killed Zamasu. Killed, quote unquote. And the field actually expands around the user. He's now already in the end, like the field is now wrapped around him. And it's got like a decent radius. Nothing too extreme, but like a 10 by 10 radius. But now he's basically able to just use the full effect of the field, and anytime the user like crashes into it, just strengthens the field and rebounds the energy back. If he needs to, he can condense the field down against the sword, but now it's in Bankai, it's similar effect magnified 5 to 10 times over, which allows the user to just wreak havoc in a melee style. So it's a pretty simplistic Bankai, but I think it would be very effective because now he's able to, Bankai, he can easily protect someone in the barrier so long as someone doesn't overpower the barrier. And then if he needs to go on the offensive, he can do exactly what he did in Shikai to a much greater effect. The downsides to this Bankai, though, or downsides really to this Zanpakuto, really would be that it's not a ranged Zanpakuto a lot. It has no range really whatsoever. And like any Shinigami ability, it can be overpowered by someone who's got more Ryatsu. Again, if Trunks goes against a Yamamoto, a Kenpachi, an Aizen, an Ichibei, hell, even an Ichigo, theoretically, any real high captain class combatant in theory, then he would be overpowered and his force field wouldn't matter that much. Hell, I'd love to see a scene basically like when Ichigo met Kenpachi, where he goes at Kenpachi with a Shikai, which normally would blow someone back and just boom, and just, what? It's like, is that really all you got? I'd love to see something like that. But yeah, so I think this is a decent Zanpakuto for Trunks. A defensive and offensive type wrapped into one. It really lends himself to someone who grew up in basically apocalyptic wasteland to some degree, and they're needing to protect people around him from dangers. So for me, yeah, this I think works as Trunks' Zanpakuto, but this is just my opinion. What do you think about this Zanpakuto? Do you like this Zanpakuto, or would you do something different for the character? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.